Today we're going to talk about how to use technology to make better decisions. A lot of times when we talk about technology, we talk about bells and whistles and complicated things, but we're going to skip that and go for something much more elegant and simple. How to use technology to keep track of customer requests. In this case, in the context of running a commercial office building. So this is a grab from a website, and what you can see is there are different ways that the customer can ask for things. Maybe they're too hot or too cold, or they've got a light bulb out, or they have a question about their account. And each one of these things that they can fill out generates a little form that becomes a case in Stemmons Central. Let's take a basic temperature request and look at the cast of characters involved. On one hand, you've got the customer, then you've got the person who responds, and finally the manager. And they each care about something different. And maybe the customer has a few requests, and there's some other customers, and there's another responder, and all these people represent a little micro community. And each one cares about something different. The customer wants to know, how long is it going to take to fix my problem? The responder is working off a list of things to do, and the manager has responsibility for watching both of these things. Of course, there's also a supervisor who's looking for problems and opportunities to do better on a larger scale. That supervisor might have a group of managers, and of course the customers have other issues, not just temperature, but a variety of questions and concerns, each one of which generates a structured data card. In a typical company, that supervisor might have 6 or 7 managers they're working with. But of course that's not the end of the story. There's also a regional director who has several different supervisors, and finally a chief operating officer who in this case is running 5 regions and has a total of 90 managers. This is a fairly typical scenario for a mid-sized company. But remember that little ecosystem we looked at? Look at how far away it is. In fact, it's almost impossible for that chief operating officer to really understand what's going on there. So they have to ask a question. They ask the regional asks the supervisor, and it bounces down the chain. And it's not just one question, of course, there's a group of them, and then eventually the answers come filtering back up, and this represents the state of the art in many companies. And if we don't have structured data, we really have to work that way, because the only people that really know what's going on are the ones that are closest to the issues. But there's good news. We have this big body of structured information. From the point of view of the chief operating officer, it looks like this. Now, every particular interaction is too hard to see. What we really need is some kind of layer of data visualization that sits in between the data and the person looking at it and allows them to do things like understand what's going on with particular issues or processes, to see detailed information on assets and accounts, to understand what's happening with the customers, and of course, finally, how are my teams performing or the individuals on them. Once we have this data visualization, information flows very differently. The structured data about operations is captured natively in the field and goes directly to a database. From there, it powers the BI tools, and the chief operating officer can consume them directly. By the time she communicates with her regional director, she is already informed and knows exactly what's going on. We've changed her world by redirecting the flow of information. It's a great way that technology lets us have good information that leads to good decisions.